have in the past 2 months during this Corona thing, just because being back here in the office, just it takes things to a whole nother level. So I didn't get home till like 11 p.m. last night because I was just excited. And I think it just goes to show, man, that like the people that ultimately win in the long run really just love the game. And I don't know. I'm sure that resonates with you.
Oh, dude, for sure. I mean, I always tell people, like, if I got in this for the money, just the money, I would have quit when I wasn't making any money, because it wasn't like day one I was making money. That definitely didn't happen. And so I definitely get where you're coming from with that, and kind of talking about this whole COVID thing and with your agency, because I know you were at a large scale, you're working with a ton of clients. And so when that hit, I know was there a little fear in it at all? I know there's probably a little second where you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But you obviously made the switch and kept things going. So what did you do from a mindset standpoint, and then actually through your actions, so that your agency kept going up?
Yeah, man. I think in the past week last week we closed 10 clients, I think, maybe 9 or 10.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So things are still rolling, and we're still closing. Luckily, we were in a niche that was considered essential. So working with chiropractors was a blessing in that they weren't forced to close down, at least in most states. So most of our clients stayed open. The ones that wanted to close, just because we do have cash reserves and we can play a little bit more long-term, we didn't force any hard contracts on them. We let them pause, and now they're starting to unpause. But what really helped us build a lot of momentum is we actually gave away a ton of free marketing services to capture the attention of the marketplace while everyone else was retracting and pulling back. So we really pushed forward, and we took this angle of like, hey, we'll run a free Google review campaign for you guys. And we ran ads to that, and we got so many freaking appointments. It was crazy. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because I remember seeing your stories too, even just with agencies that you're helping and teaching, and you have so many testimonials. And I remember sitting there, because we have our education. I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't
even post all of them. Everyone says they see my stories, and they're all of them. And I swear to God,
I'm like Joel's posting so many. I'm like, I got to catch up. Like, my students aren't getting the same. I was like, that's like my inspiration to like really help people. And so I've like with that, that's so cool. And so my question, and like, how are your students so successful? Like, why are you sharing 10 times more testimonials than all the other gurus out there? That's what I want to know. What's the secret, if there is?
What's the secret sauce? You're probably going to hate this answer, but my belief is that the best answer is always the right answer, even if it's hard and not easy. And here it is. I help my students master the game between the left ear and the right ear, and really have the right mindset so that when they go out and take the strategies that I teach them, they execute them much better than anyone else. If we think about sports, right? It's like, let's pick basketball, for example. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, but it's the same game. It's the same strategies. It's the same plays. It's the same tactics, but he just executed them way better because this thing up here out-competed everyone else. So what I really focus on as a coach is I'm going to give you all the latest strategies, all the latest tactics. I'm going to tell you what scripts to use. I'm going to show you the ads. I'm going to show you our demo presentation so you could close clients more easily and smoothly. But most importantly, I'm going to get you to take action on the things that matter, and I'm going to fix your mindset so that you can level up as a human being and actually become a 7-figure entrepreneur. And that is honestly one of the biggest gaps that I see in coaching and in courses is everyone focuses on the tactics, the strategies. But if you actually dedicate a lot of time in getting your students to just become better entrepreneurs, they're going to execute on your strategies way better. So for example, one of the things that I tell every single new student that joins my program, I tell them this: if I can get you to focus 80% or more of your time and energy on setting and closing appointments, and if that's all I do for you, forget the strategies, forget the tactics, forget the scripts, forget all of that. If all I do is convince you to focus 80% or more of your time on income generating activities that will get you closer to a sale, you will get better results in this program than any other program out there. So those are the types of things that I try to help my students with. And honestly, I do believe that's why they get better results, because the strategy, you have great strategy. Like, dude, we have one student that's in your program, in my program, Kendall, he's crushing it. Like, I see your strategies work. Like, but I'll just wrap it up here. The best coaches, man, also coach. They don't just tell you what to do.
Yeah, they don't just throw a course at you and say good luck, you know, and just like have fun. Thanks for your money. So that's cool. I love that. And obviously the results are showing. You're sharing screenshots, but you know, it always wasn't like this. You know, we see you on the stage that you are now, right? We see you with your 7-figure agency. We see you get 2 Common Club awards. We see all that, but it wasn't always like that. So how did you master and explore and define your mindset to achieve your success that you can then share to others?
Oh, that's a great question, man. Like, there was definitely some dark periods. Like when we were starting out the business, it was not rainbows and butterflies. And I remember one day I used to micromanage like crazy. I used to be extremely controlling. I used to be I'm a very competitive person. And in business, you have to monitor how aggressive you get with your competitiveness. Like, you also have to be a good person. You can't just dominate like Michael Jordan, right? I remember having this realization when I really pissed off my business partner, that my way of being and acting just wasn't working anymore. So I actually decided to get some support systems in my life to help me level up. Hired a mindset coach, hired a high performance coach, and slowly but surely, I just started to evolve into a better human being. And I know that's not like a very specific answer, but I think the I think the big takeaway there is everyone is always asking. And actually, a lot of you guys might know Jeff Seckinger. He's a good friend of mine. He just posted this the other day, but it's so true. And I talk about this all the time. It's not about what do I have to do to get to 7 figures. It's who do I have to become as a human being to earn the right to get to 7 figures. It's how do I have to level up as Joel so that I have the right belief system, the right outlook on life, and the right skill sets to actually build a business that will get to 7 figures. And when I realized that way early in my journey, after pissing off my business partner, I realized I was not letting go. So we weren't even hiring people. I wasn't willing to build systems because I wanted to be in control of everything. And when I realized that person wasn't going to give the space for a 7-figure agency, I realized, okay, I need to take a step back here and really work on myself. And over a period of a few months, I really started to let go. I started to trust my team members. I backed off. I used to monitor the sales calls. Like I was a hawk. And like,
really?
Yeah. And my business partner was good at sales. He's like, Joel, get the hell out of here. Like, don't listen to my calls. And as soon as I started backing off, it's almost like it freed up the space for the growth to actually happen. So
yeah, I love that. No, that totally makes sense. And I know a question a lot of people always ask me too, as they are scaling up their agency and as they are trying to make room, you know, to become the kind of person. The big thing is like those systems you're talking about in outsourcing, how you step back. But what do you think is the first and most important thing for an agency owner to outsource when they're just starting to scale up and looking to push past 6 figures or just get to that next level? What would you suggest the first thing to outsource is?
Yeah, I mean, if I was starting all over again and I wanted to get one thing off my plate, it's going to be getting a virtual assistant to help me set appointments. So the very first 2 things I would ever invest in, if I had to go back and start this all the way from scratch, is buying an email list or a phone number list or paying someone to scrape my entire niche. So like literally I want to own a list of every single name, email, and phone number of every decision maker in my niche. Let's say it's gyms. And then I would invest in a virtual assistant to be able to hit up all those people.
Yeah.
That's it. That's if that's the first thing I would outsource is my ability to set appointments. Then the next thing to outsource is gonna either be your fulfillment or your sales. What I tell people, if you're really good at sales and you're closing like crazy, outsource that second, not first. Get someone to actually help you doing the work and bring it in-house. I don't believe in white labeling. I do believe that if you want to run a business, you do need to learn how to deliver the service, just because at scale, the margins for white labeling don't make sense. But at the very beginning, first thing to outsource is prospecting. I would use a virtual assistant to help me just send messages all day long. I'll honestly like to take the things that you teach and just put it on steroids, right? Like add people in your niche, send them a message, post on your behalf. Like I know you released like a 365-day calendar of like posts.
Yeah.
I wouldn't post it. My virtual assistant would post it. You know? Then outsource, really good at sales, then outsource your account management, your marketing, your fulfillment. And then if you're not really good at sales, then I would outsource sales first and then worry about outsourcing your fulfillment.
Yeah, no, I think that's, appointments too is so important. And I know with like a lot of people, they get caught up on that and they're so focused on appointments. They only do that and they forget, and they get so focused on just the service delivery, and then they get all caught up. And I'm just like, guys, like keep things simple. And like, what do I offer my clients and all that stuff? And so what do you think right now in this day and age? Because SMMA, I remember I got into it starting like 4 years ago. So I feel like I'm an old person. I feel like this has been along forever, but it's still pretty new, right? But so like things have changed. What you offer clients, what they want, what they need has changed. And so what do you think is like the most valuable thing to be offering in a whole, or kind of campaigns that clients, at least that you're working with, are super excited to pay for? Because I know a lot of people kind of miss out on that, and they're just like, oh, I'm just going to run Facebook ads and get them leads and leave it at that.
Yeah, that's that's one of the best questions I think people have asked me lately. I would say what we're moving towards is evolving from being just an SMMA into much more than that, and really providing an end-to-end solution. It's a very hard challenge to provide an end-to-end solution. For example, let's say that you generate the leads, you also help them follow up with the leads, and then you also help them close the leads. In a perfect world, if you did everything and it was a truly done for you business in a box where you're just helping them get new patients or new gym members or new buyers and sellers, if they're in the real estate niche, that's like what you need to shoot for. That's like the goal. Obviously it's impossible to do everything for them, but if you're asking me what people are wanting and where it's moving towards, I do believe it's that. So for example, one of my students is building a call center so that the call center follows up and schedules every single lead on behalf of the client. So now client doesn't have to ever make a phone call. So it's leads and follow-up. And we're slowly starting to build an end-to-end solution. Let's take it one step further. Let's say that we got the leads that we're generating. We also have a call center that calls the leads, gets them scheduled. And we're also bringing in a coach into our agency that trains our clients on sales. So now generating leads, we're helping them follow up. All they have to do is show up, and if they get trained by our coach, they're going to get good at sales, and now they're going to be able to close them. So that's where I believe, I think agency is evolving into what I like to call the hybrid model, which is consulting and coaching with agency.
Okay. Yeah. No, I definitely see that too, because there's a lot of people need both. Like one thing I want to start teaching our students is how to add an educational or consulting aspect to their agency, because you can have a value ladder and then you'll be making more money. You'll help more people. So it's good. I like how you brought that up, because I definitely see that being the next thing in terms of that.
And I would say also before adding that consultative piece, I think the next step, I'm a huge believer in like tackling issues on the order of priority that they're coming in on. So first it's generating leads, then it's helping them follow up with those leads, then it's helping them close. So if you're just starting out and you're just doing leads, I would ask myself, what can I do to help work the leads for them and get them scheduled?
Yeah.
Whether that's,
No, that's good.
Building the best high-level sequence, whether that's hiring a call center to actually follow up, whether that's actually hiring someone to manage all the text conversations and get people scheduled, and just selling appointments instead of leads. The key is I think that's the next level. For the next few months, money makers are going to be the ones that generate leads and take the follow-up off of their plate.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's smart. Now, what's something with your students when they come into your program, when you're working with other agencies, what's the biggest internal like limiting belief a lot of UC agencies are trying to scale to 7 figures have? What's the biggest one, and how do you help them handle that?
This is like top secret stuff, but I'm going to share it with you because I think it'll help you guys.
That's why it's called the agency secret sit down, man. All the secrets, you got to. It's what happens.
And we're sitting down, dropping secrets. Okay, so I'm going to give you two biggest limiting beliefs that stops people from scaling. One is this belief that the one client is more important than the 20 clients. And what I mean by this is everyone is always thinking, how can I get my one client the best results possible? Instead of, how can I get to 20 clients as quickly as possible so that now I have a community, so that now I have an actual group of people to test things out with at scale, so that I can actually then go out and build the best product or solution. Everyone always gets stuck on the 0 to 10K mark because of this exact belief. They think that building the great, like coming up with some new marketing strategy is going to take them to the next level. But the truth is the only way to actually come up with that is to have enough people, enough clients in the same niche that can give you real feedback on what you're doing at scale, so that you can then go out and build the best thing for them. Because the biggest illusion is thinking that you're building the best product or service for your one client, but maybe that's just a fluke. Maybe it works for them, but it won't work for the 9 other clients. So the only way to get really good results, and I know it's backwards, is to actually get a group of clients. So my whole belief is know what you're doing, definitely know how to run ads and get them good results. But don't make that the point of focus throughout your day. Like your goal should not be how to make the best product or service for your one client. Your goal should be, how do I get to 20 clients as quickly as humanly possible, so that now we can test 20 different things at the same time and actually see what works and doesn't work.
Dang, I've never heard that before. That's smart. No, that's smart.
I tell people all the time, as an entrepreneur, you have to pick a problem to solve. And the problem that you need to be solving is not how do I keep my one client and how do I get them the best results. Instead, the problem that you need to solve is how do I get to 20 clients as quickly as humanly possible, so that then I actually have a group of people that test things out at scale and figure out how to get clients the best results. And if you actually cared about client results, you would make that short-term trade-off for that long-term result that you would get your clients.
For sure. That's good. That's so true. Dang, now I'm thinking, whenever I do these interviews, people say stuff, I start thinking like, oh, you can do this, or like I can do this. And I start thinking like my own agency, and it's like, that's smart. I love that.
So think about it. Even with your students, let's say that you have 1,000 students, you'll quickly be able to see what the top ones are doing that everyone else isn't doing. You take that information and you reteach it to everyone else. And then you get better results for everyone. And then you rinse and repeat that process, and you walk away with being able to post results on your stories all day.
All day long. You're spamming our stories with the results.
I just spoke with, I've been talking a lot with Alex Hormozi, and I mean, he's a beast. He's worked with over 1,000 gyms. And
Dang.
one thing that he does that no beginner does is he tests things at scale. So he'll grab like 50 gyms, he'll run the one new campaign, and then very quickly he can tell whether or not it works. And then if it works, he plugs that campaign into all of his other clients. And when you are starting out in the SMMA space and you just have one client, and if you really care about your client's results, then you would commit to getting to 20 clients as fast as humanly possible so that you can actually get the data required to figure out how to help them at the highest level possible.
Dang, that's awesome. That's smart. If everyone watching that, y'all better start doing that. I mean, you didn't have to pay him for that. So I'd only like 5% of the 90, the other 95% won't, but the other 5%, y'all better be taking action on that. That's awesome. I love that.
And at the beginning, you asked me, like, what do I do better than everyone else that gets some best results? It's this type of things where I just shift people's mindset so that now my students are focused on how to get 20 clients, not how do I keep my one client happy. And then they end up getting better results.
Did you ever have like a negative look towards personal development and mindset growth when you first started out? Like, oh no, another mindset coach or, a personal development book. Did you ever have that kind of look on that?
Did you? I'm curious where you stand too.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. 100%. It wasn't until like the start of this year, just a couple months ago, when I realized I had all the strategies down, and I was like, I was just hitting six figures. I was like, well, to push past it, I can't keep doing that. And so I definitely did. I was like, oh boy, another guy telling me to master my mindset. And, there's always like the jokes about it online and stuff.
It's funny.
So I did.
I always say, like, the people that are always like, oh, it's mindset, are the ones making all the money. So it's like, you talk to like all my friends that are doing seven figures, and it's like, that's what they all say. And then everyone doing 5 and 6, they're like, oh, I just need the new strategy. Here's my take on mindset and stuff. I'm a huge believer on personal development. I'm a huge believer in mindset, but I'm also, it's not so black or white for me, the way that our entrepreneurial culture wants to make it seem. Like, I told you before we went live today, I ended up staying up super late last night, and my morning this morning was ruined. Like, I actually have not started working until this interview. I just showed up to the office. And this goes against all entrepreneurial dogma of like, you need to hustle, you need to do it every single day. You can't fail one day out of the week. Like, and I just believe that there's a balance, and I also believe that entrepreneurship is such a long-term game that you have to look at your discipline, at your habits over longer periods of time, not in the day-to-day. So what I would tell you, man, is huge believer in personal development, huge believer in working on your mindset, just because I firsthand saw how that helped me grow my business. That being said, I'm not so strict on it where it's like every day waking up at 5 a.m. or else I'm a loser.
Yeah.
Or like this, like I try to read every single night, and this week I've been crushing it like throughout the day and being super productive. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just watch a TV show and be a normal human being.
Yeah,
I just,
a little bit.
So yeah, I also strive for that balance,
Yeah, that's awesome. And quick question, just kind of more so switching towards just like looking at before you start your agency. Because I know we've been talking about high level stuff and scaling and pushing past that. But, before we wrap this up, I'd like to know, like, what were you doing before you started your agency? Like, who was Joel before you were, making 7 figures and, doing all this stuff? What did your life look like in that sense?
It's a great question. So I come from an entrepreneurial family, and my grandfather fled the World War II and came to New York and landed at Ellis Island. It was closed, and then they actually ended up in South America because they weren't letting anyone in. My grandfather was dirt poor, and he essentially built up his life through entrepreneurship. He started a manufacturing company. So I truly believe that entrepreneurship is in my blood. My father's also an entrepreneur. And my very first business, I did go to college because I don't know if
Bro, get out of here. Just kidding.
yeah, I did go to college. All right, here's the real truth. For anyone that has a Hispanic mom, like, because I'm from Venezuela, that's where I was born, and
Okay.
my mom's from Venezuela, and she was like, if you don't get that degree, you're out of the house. So
I
I
love that.
definitely was a little bit more scared to disappoint my parents. If I could go back, I wouldn't do it. I tell my dad all the time, my biggest regret is just not is going to school instead of just going to work for you and just starting to get my feet wet right from day one. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. So went to school and I actually started in a DJing company for weddings. So that was my first company, and we killed it, man. Like I was making $1,000 a night for DJing a wedding.
Dang.
Super easy. It's like
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
play the
I know.
songs. And after a while, I had some crazy incidents with like I'm sure I don't know if you've heard of like the term bridezilla, but like brides and like people getting married and their moms can get really intense. And
Okay. Yeah.
because there's like a lot of pressure on a wedding, and I'm
Oh
over
yeah.
here just trying to DJ and have a good time and make some money. And then um, there's this one story of a bride's mom getting really upset with me and screaming at me, and I was like, I quit. So I like,
Yeah.
which was stupid because I was making good money and that could have been a solid company, and I
Yeah.
left. Then then after that I was like, all right, I have this money saved up. Let me go and start the next Facebook. That was like the next idea, and I was still this was
No, no, you didn't.
it was awful, man. We
How did that go?
didn't go. We're here right now. Um,
Oh,
so we built the software, and it was like the whole idea was that it was going to be a Facebook based on interest. So you'd be able to talk to people based on your interests. I guess kind of like Facebook groups.
yeah.
But it was such a stupid idea. I think this was, this was at this point 9 years ago. So like,
Yeah.
I was like, this is when I was just starting out. There wasn't like horses. There wasn't like,
Yeah. No.
there wasn't this world. So it was just like me just trying to figure it out, like in my head, just going out and like
Right.
being, oh, Facebook launched, maybe I should do it.
That's
So that failed. And then a fast forward, I'm about to graduate and I'm about to start my third company. And my friend went to school for chemical engineering for cannabis. That's what he specialized in. So he actually manufactures he builds the systems in the factories that produce marijuana at scale. And I personally don't smoke, but
yeah.
he wanted to launch a product that was CBD based, and it's about to start the company. And my dad, who I respect a lot, was like, Joel, please go get a job for at least 2 years. Give me 2 years just to learn. So I ended up joining a startup and moved to Colorado. And from day one, it was a battle. Like I really struggled with authority, and most entrepreneurs just can't be employees. And it was just a lot of fighting. And let's just say, as soon as the 2 years were up, I left and I started the marketing agency. So that's my story before seven-figure agency.
Starting the next Facebook. Too bad that didn't go through, man. Could have blown that up.
No, it wasn't gonna work. It was called Mazoof, Mazoof. Very weird.
That's awesome. I love that. That's just so funny. It's like the classic thing, just like the far big dream, like I'm gonna start next Facebook, next Instagram. Like everyone always says that. And then it's like, oh, that's awesome. Hey, that's a good story though.
I don't know if I can share my screen, but look, here's a logo for it.
Yeah, it's popping. Dang.
I'm not even lying. Like, this is what we tried to start so long ago.
The Zoof, guys. Make sure you download it on the Google Play Store.
It's not
Download
out
now. We need to restart. Just kidding. That's awesome. But yeah, as we kind of wrap this up here, one question I always like to ask everyone we interview, because it is agency secret sit down, so we need the biggest secret of it all. So if somebody had to come to you and they're going to give you all their money, they're going to sell their house, they're going to just like leave their family to go on this exploration. You said, hey, I can give you the secret, and they're going to give you all their money to get this one secret. What would be the number one piece of advice you would give that person so that they could build that 7-figure agency so their family isn't homeless anymore?
It would be to sign up for your program and my program at the same time.
There you go, dude.
That's
all right,
top secret. I'll say this. The number one secret is don't give away all your secrets.
So you can sell in the course, and then
I would say to give you guys a legit answer, I want to give you guys something really good. If I'm going to give you guys something more I know we've talked a lot of mindset and shit like that, so I'll give you guys something a little bit more practical. The one secret is, how do you figure out how to go from prospecting one-to-one and transition to prospecting one-to-many?
Yeah.
If you can figure that out, then all you need to do is get good at sales, and you have the foundation to scaling a 7-figure business, which is sales and marketing. If you can crack sales and marketing, you should be able to scale something up. So what I would do if I was just starting out, you're like, Joel, what's the secret? Is figure out a strategy that scales your prospecting and takes you from, so for example, instead of me sitting here and cold calling every day one-to-one, or me sitting here and DMing people one-to-one, how can I take that and plant those seeds at scale and do it from one to many? So for example, things like virtual assistants, things like hiring appointment setters, like a team of appointment setters to actually do the calling for you. Now you're leveraging other people, running paid ads, building something that you're doing is like building a Facebook group, building a tribe where you just have to post, but now you're getting in front of all these people at once. I don't know of any 7-figure earner that is doing the prospecting one-to-one. Not one. They don't exist.
Yeah.
Everyone had some sort of way to get in front of a lot of people at once. So maybe that's hiring a virtual assistant to send out 500 messages a day on your behalf, so now you're not doing it one-to-one. Maybe that's hiring someone else to cold call for you, so now you're not doing it one-to-one. Maybe it's setting up paid ads so you can pay to be in front of a lot of people. Maybe it's building a Facebook group so that you have to put in some work up front, but then you get to be in front of a lot of people at once. That's what I would focus on.
That's awesome. That's huge, man. That's so true. That's so true. So I appreciate it, guys. Use that secret, guys. You didn't have to pay him for all that, so y'all better use it. But still, you guys know. Yeah, I know you're killing it, man. You guys, if you add us a friend on Facebook or Instagram, just be aware your stories are going to be spam of testimonials, and you're going to feel convicted, and you're going to feel inspired, and you're going to realize that there's people out there that are actually putting the work and that you need to as well. So make sure you go get in Joel's group. Make sure you go, follow him, Edward, buy his stuff. I wouldn't be promoting anyone or talking to anybody that I didn't trust and have followed for a long time. So Joel, I do appreciate you being here. You dropped some amazing value, and I was super excited for this, and it went amazing.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Sweet, sweet. Well, guys, make sure if you're watching the replay or if you're watching this listening to this, make sure to drop some engagement. Shout out Joel. Show him some love in the comments. Point out some things that you pulled from this interview, and tune in for the next episode of the Agency Secret Sit Down, because we will be back with some more secrets. So peace out, everyone. We'll be back again soon. Awesome. There we go.